happy to be talking about football coming back as well. All right. As you guys know, next weekend, the Bundesliga will be kicking off.
Oh, yeah.
Exciting.
Exciting.
I think most of us haven't been watching the Bundesliga.
Say that again. Bundesliga.
I think most of us haven't really been paying attention to the league in Germany, but now that everything else is shut off, we have no choice.
No choice.
Right? We have no choice but to be paying attention to the German league, watching Bayern Munich.
It's gonna be interesting, to say the least.
That's my favorite team in that league anyway.
That's the only team you know in the league.
That's not true. I know Dortmund.
Dortmund. So Bayern Munich and Dortmund.
I know Schalke.
Schalke, what else?
I know Werder Bremen.
Werder Bremen?
Yeah.
They got relegated 2 years ago.
You see, I know a whole lot of teams. Don't worry about that.
I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding.
Werder Bremen's still in the top flight. But
so,
it's going to be good that everybody's going to be watching it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think people are going to watch it for more than 15 minutes.
That's not true. I think we miss real football so badly that I think all of us are going to watch a whole entire match. I'm excited. I'm canceling all my plans for
I'm excited too
to watch.
I'm excited too. But then once the game starts and you realize what's happening because of COVID-19,
yeah.
I promise you, look, we're not used to watching games where the fans are not present.
But think about it though, now we can actually hear the players, what they're saying.
You can hear everything. You can hear what the coaches are saying. For us as coaches,
Yeah.
that's an interesting perspective for a change.
Yeah.
But as a fan trying to enjoy soccer,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be watching it, hey, I want to see the tactics. I'm just going to be enjoying soccer for once.
Yeah. Real soccer.
Real soccer.
Like live.
Live.
Real, live. We miss the live action. We miss the real stuff, happen lifetime watching the players on the field.
The emotions.
Trying to see what's going to happen with the league tables. We miss all of that. But today, though, I think what I really want us to kind of dig it a little bit into, and I think most of you kind of are wondering how this is all going to play out. Playing in an empty stadium.
Playing in an empty stadium.
Do you honestly think about this, right? The question for me is like, as a professional or as a fan of the game, I would like to think that the players are feeding off the atmosphere in the stadium, right? They're feeding off the fans, they're feeding off the chants and all this stuff. But now, all of that is gone.
Completely silent. And, you have to think back to maybe when you played in college.
Yeah.
And not having fans at the stadium, it's a completely different mindset going into the game.
Yeah.
You don't feel as motivated from the get-go.
Yeah.
If the game is tough, where are you going to get your energy from?
Yeah.
Especially if you're the home team, you no longer have an advantage of having a home crowd on your side.
No, that is gone.
It's completely silent. It's like a practice setting, but with higher stakes. The matches mean something, and now each individual player is having to find the motivation from within themselves.
Do you even think though the players even want to be on the pitch? I mean, one thing I would love to do is talk. I would love to probably get a glimpse, talk to one of those pro players right now from Germany and say, how do you feel? Like, do you even want to be on the field playing, knowing that one, this whole COVID thing hasn't blown over, and two, you're in this empty stadium, like you're fully just watching this, you're playing this game for almost like nobody in a sense. Even though people are watching at home,
people are watching on TV, but how you feel while you're playing it in the present atmosphere, having nobody in the stadium, I'm telling you, is going to be a feeling that not a lot of professionals are used to. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I know some of the bigger teams in Europe have played in closed stadiums before for different reasons, sanctions on their club, but to have every game be played in an empty stadium week after week after week, I don't know how the players are feeling, but if I was speaking from my perspective.
That was going to be my question for you.
Man.
How would you feel if you're one of those players right now, you have to go out next weekend, and I'm sure, based on the things we've been reading about these players, like they all are training now, they have to be isolated or individual, almost like most individual training in a sense. Like, how would you feel if you were a player next week it comes around and you have to get on the pitch. You've been a professional. You play for the crowd. That's what you live off of. And now you have to go in an empty stadium and you have to play. How would you feel?
I know that I would be very much comparing it to just a practice session. That's how I would feel.
Yeah.
You know, and in fact, me as a player, I would much rather us just having a team practice. I feel like that would be a more lively atmosphere. You can have fun at least.
Yeah.
Than being in a game where it's so serious, yet you're not really playing for the fans that are there. You know, that was a big driving factor in how hard you were working.
Yeah.
You know, people are watching you. People are going to be criticizing you if you don't perform. People are paying their hard-earned money to come watch you play.
Yeah.
And now all of that is gone. Yes, you know they're watching you on TV, but it's not the same.
It's not the same.
You know, when you hear the chant of your name or the chant of your team or the goal goes in and the crowd goes crazy or, you know, you guys are, they're cheering you guys on because you guys are one goal behind. All of that is gone. So now the coach is telling you, pick it up, let's go. Hey guys, we need better. Or your captain is telling you, hey, come on, keep it clean, keep the ball moving. I'm telling you, man, me personally, I would only be able to take so much of it before I'm like, we might as well just go back and just train.
But you still, though, you're a professional, right? So at that level, you're being paid to do a job.
Of course.
Right? It's you're being compensated to perform.
Of course.
Would you then have to put all these things to the side and really perform as a pro, like just professionally? Like, but the game is so emotional too that like I don't know. I mean, how would you deal with that being a professional?
For sure, a lot of these guys are so mentally ready and prepared that when they go into the game knowing what it's gonna be like, they're not gonna really let it affect them too much.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure for some players it's gonna affect them
Yeah.
more than others.
Yeah.
And so even when they go into the game, I have the feeling that it's gonna be about who is least affected by the environment that's gonna end up getting the upper hand.
Yeah.
You know, so the ones that have been a professional for a long time, maybe they know how to deal with certain situations, block out everything, and just perform. Maybe for the younger kids that are just, you know, getting into the first team, or, you know, you haven't been a professional for that long, you know, you've been in the era where a lot of stuff is on social media, you know, fans, that's what's driving you, you're gonna have a tough time performing.
Yeah.
Or it could go completely the other way where you've been a professional for a long time, you're used to playing in front of big crowds, and all of a sudden, boom.
Let's take it away from you.
You can hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
That might be more tough. So I'm not sure how it's gonna go. And I'm excited to really kind of see the game and kind of see for myself, okay, they're feeling it, or no, I can't tell at all. They're really much professionals.
For me,
like this.
another thing that I was thinking as you were just talking is that those vocal players that probably say things, right? Whether you're that dirty defender that just like to get in people's head, or you're that captain that like to get on everybody, would that all of a sudden now kind of hold you back, knowing that everything you said is being heard, or the microphone can pick it up and the people at home can hear you? Like, do you see, like this presents it presents some unique problems for players to have to deal with. Now all of a sudden, am I just like reserved to say the things that I normally would say in the game, knowing that there's a huge crowd around me, there's all this noise, and people can't hear everything that I said?
At least people at home.
People at home can't hear me.
Right.
Even people in the stadium
crowd,
probably won't even hear
You're
you
right.
because everybody's so loud. Now, am I afraid of saying those things? Like, does that take an advantage away from a player?
So I would say this. If I'm a player,
Yeah.
I'm not at all concerned about who might hear me. In fact, I think that becomes a problem for the producers, right? For the people that are in charge of broadcasting the game. Because you can't just have a game that kids are going to be watching, have players screaming all types of things that now the audience who are at home are going to be able to hear.
Can they help it?
That's what I'm saying. So now that's a problem that they might have to discuss before the league actually kicks off.
Yeah.
You know, they're not called broadcast producers. What are they? The people that are showing the game.
The commentators.
No, not the commentators. Like NBC or Fox Sports.
Yeah.
You know, they're in charge of promoting the game.
That own the right.
Broadcasting the game. So Fox Sports, ESPN, those guys are the ones that are gonna have to say, you know what, hey, maybe we muffled the sound a little bit so you don't hear everything, only when something is said really, really loud,
Yeah.
then you pick it up. If not, if we're able to hear everything, that's a
It's
new
gonna be
challenge.
interesting. I think if we can hear everything, like we said earlier, it's gonna be exciting to hear what these guys are saying to each other on the pitch, right? Because as coaches, we're always telling our kids, talk. We want to hear you guys talk to each other on the field, and we know the pros do it.
But you never hear it.
You never hear it. You know it's happening. You know things are being said, but you never hear it. So I think this will present like a unique opportunity for young players at home to be able to hear the pros and how they communicate. So then maybe we, as coaches, we can use it as an example to tell our kids, hey,
the things we're telling you,
you see
they
it's being done.
also say it to each
Yeah.
other. You just don't hear it.
You just don't hear it.
So one quick thing, if you had to watch a game, no commentators, how would you feel?
It'll be tough.
It would be tough, right?
It'll be tough.
Now imagine you're watching a game and the crowd is silent. The crowd is there, but they're silent. That's still tough, isn't it?
It'll be very tough.
But you at least see that people are watching.
You know people are
so you
watching you,
perform.
so your performance is a little bit.
Now
picks
nobody's
up.
there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. I've watched some games where my excitement for the game rose exponentially just because I could hear how crazy the crowd
The
was
fans
getting.
are. Yeah, exactly. Especially the
Like a
Dortmund
final,
fans.
oh my goodness.
The Dortmund fans. They imagine Dortmund. I know they play business of what the crowd is giving them. So now all of a sudden the crowd is gone. That is gone. You know what I mean? So that leads to some interesting questions and say, is it even worth even having a game? Like, you know what I mean? Is a game worth being playing if the people that the game is being played for
are not present?
Is it worth it?
So then the question almost is like, is part of the game missing? Is it really the beautiful game of soccer if the fans are not present?
It's not.
Right? And should we continue to have the season even though we know like a big part of the game is not going to be there?
But to look on the other side of that, right? The conversation you will hear is, well, everyone that loves the game doesn't go to the stadium. The stadium only has a certain amount of capacity.
Yes.
So the game is not just playing for the people in the stadium. The game is being played for the people outside the stadium as well.
Right.
So yes, we may not be serving the people within the stadium, but we're serving everyone outside of the stadium, including people that cannot come to that usually come to the stadium but are no longer there. Now all of a sudden they have to watch it from their house and in the pubs or whatever.
But they can't even watch it in the
They can't even watch it from the
pubs.
pubs.
I was thinking that while you were speaking, I'm like, oh, at least they can go to the bars and actually rally together as fans and watch the game. But that's not even possible.
Yeah,
because that's one atmosphere where you get even more into the game because you're with friends.
Yeah.
And everybody's so up about the game.
Everybody's sharing their discussions and having their opinions.
Yeah, man, this is gonna be a tough one, and I think we're gonna have a really, really interesting perspective.
Yeah.
Watching from our seats at home, and I'm gonna ask everybody that's gonna be watching this game during the weekend. Actually, think about how you're feeling while the game is going on. Because I think a lot of us watch games and we don't really realize how big the atmosphere in the stadium is making us more excited about the game.
Yeah.
Because even if you think about some MLS games, right? When they play and there aren't that many people in the stadium or the fans are not, they don't provide that atmosphere, you don't care to watch.
No, it's boring.
It's so boring.
It looks boring.
You literally change it to the channel, it's quiet, they're kicking, commentators are speaking, you're like, it's a waste of my time.
I can't even watch this. I think we got to do a follow-up video after next weekend, just to kind of share our thoughts on
how we felt
watching the game. I think there's a need for that. But I think it's going to be an interesting scenario coming up this weekend.
For sure.
Not having fans in the stadium. I would love to talk to one of these players, man, and say how they feel knowing that you're playing there. There's so many factors that just go into this whole entire thing, right? Players have to show up, be in an empty stadium, have to perform at the highest level. There is still a title on the line to be played for. There's still relegation on the line to be played for. So there's so many things that are going to impact, this whole entire situation that the fans are not going to be there to be able to help you. It's going to be really, really interesting.
Whew, for sure. And so, for us, we're excited. but at the same time, I'm a little bit reserved.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know how I'm gonna feel because I'm bringing so much excitement to watch the game and then to be disappointed.
After for so many
I'm
months,
gonna be upset.
I mean, it's the thing is though, can you really be upset? Can you be upset? Are you gonna be upset
I
about
know
the
myself.
game? Are you gonna be upset about the game?
I know
Because
myself.
There's so many factors that's going into it. It's
If I'm watching a game
yeah.
and I don't feel the passion that
Yeah.
makes me want to watch the game, I don't think I can do it. I'm gonna come back 3 days later and just watch the highlights.
But do you think though? Do you think after this weekend, let's say the games, go forward and it was not exciting, do you think they just call it the season off?
Nah, I don't know, man.
Just call it off, right?
They should.
If
should.
it doesn't go well and people just seem to have not enjoyed it, or the players
They're
have not
gonna lose
enjoyed it,
viewers,
and
yeah.
just call it season, like just be done with it and
Done.
let's
pick it up next time.
Let's pick up when it's stuff when we can actually have people in the stadium. But that's a lot of thoughts on this weekend coming up. How the game's gonna go playing in empty stadiums.
Yes, keep track of how you feel.
Yeah.
And then compare with how we feel after this weekend is over.
Yeah. Let us know, and we chat with you later.
Just ping it.